So as you can see, we have a new logo and so forth here at the department, which is probably why I am so delayed making sure it's over on there. But welcome to our new academic school year. And I'd like to start off by first our agenda today. We're going to be welcoming some new directors. And please, if I have missed anyone, please be sure to let me know after the meeting and I will update my list. We're going to show you the list of send out some kudos to our educational interpreters who are spending a week at the South Carolina Educational Interpreting Center from Sunday through Thursday, overnight and all, so that they can work on professional development, improve their skills. Then we have Basque to make some announcements, Skippy making announcements, Lisa McClimate will talk about indicators 9 and 10, and then Katie Heiss for Ed Plan SC. I'm just going to turn my camera off so I don't have so much going on here. So first, there is our list. Welcome to our new directors from Abbeville down to Union. So welcome to all of you. And again, if you don't see either your name should be on this list or you know of someone whose name should be on this list, please let me know and I will be happy to make that correction. But welcome to all of you. And these are the districts and the educational interpreters who are spending their week next week out at Clemson, on the Clemson campus at the Educational Interpreting Center, sitting in classes and doing all of their learning through that. And next I will turn this over to Stephen Roof for some Basque announcements.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Hi, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. My name is Stephen Roof. I'm the Associate Director of the Behavior Alliance of South Carolina. Excited to be with you all here this afternoon. One of the first things we wanted to share with you from the Behavior Alliance of South Carolina is some information about some asynchronous back-to-school professional learning as we start to cycle up and prepare for the upcoming school year. We have a few offerings that are available on our website, behavioralliance.org. Two of them that I'll highlight for you are increasing positive interactions and group contingencies. These are two self-paced Canvas modules that are free to anybody in the state. We often suggest that folks utilize those free asynchronous resources in staff meetings or sharing with new staff who are starting off. They're also great, and we've heard a lot of feedback from folks that they enjoy using them for staff members who are not in teacher roles. So think about your other staff members who might benefit as well. Beyond our back-to-school professional learning, we have an exciting opportunity on the next slide for you to join an upcoming series that we are hosting in coordination with the Skippy Group, the South Carolina Partnerships for Inclusion Group. We are co-planning a virtual professional learning series around leading schools and effective discipline systems and practices for young learners, especially around the area of developmentally appropriate disciplinary practices and reactions to behavior. You can find out more information about that in the chat. I just dropped the direct link to our ECHO series website that has some information about what the 5-part series will cover, and then information about how to register. Registration for that ECHO series is available now via our link on the website. So check it out if you'd like to join. Those series are geared towards leaders in school settings. So we're looking for people who are in principal, disciplinary, assistant principal type roles who manage discipline at the school level. So feel free to check that out and look at that, and feel free to share that with folks. The next thing that we have available and wanted to share information with you about is one of our collaborators at Clemson, Dr. Lydia Beam. She is an assistant professor in the College of Education, has an opportunity for folks to opt into a special project around coping power. Coping Power is an evidence-based Tier 2 intervention for students that is actually in the process of being modified at Tier 1. That Coping Power project it's really targeted towards rural settings, so schools that are identified as a rural school. And the actual project is a multi-week project in which schools can sign up and receive free professional learning and coaching. It takes you through a cycle of tier 1 universal lessons that are given to students by their educators, by their teachers. And then beyond that, there are some tier 2 elements for group-based interventions for students who aren't responding to tier 1. Most of the work underneath Coping Power is all around skills like understanding how to deal with anger, understanding how to respond to difficult social situations. So it really aligns to the character and resiliency education that the state of South Carolina is supporting and doing throughout the collective work that we collaborate on. That particular study is being offered free of charge to schools. And if you are interested in learning more about being able to sign up for that or what the commitment might look like, you can reach out to Lydia Beam directly. Her email address is on the slide. And then I think the last thing that we had to share information about was we wanted to just give a little bit of a here's what's coming for you soon. But in August, we will be announcing our next round of district partnerships. Our district partnership process is an application-based process that we'll announce and give more information about in August. But the fastest way to get information that is current about how to become a district partner is by signing up for our mailing list. So I dropped that link in our chat. We will be announcing the district partnership process in August via our mailing list and social media. Our handle is @BaskBehavior if you'd like to follow us. But we're excited to open up our second cohort of district partners, and there'll be a lot more information coming via email and some information sessions we'll be hosting in August and September. With that being said, if you need anything from us, feel free to visit behavioralliance.org and reach out to us. Thanks, Sarah and OSIS, for the opportunity to chat here with you today.
Thank you, Stephen. Next, we have Carrie Cannongeiser from Skippy.
Hey everyone, we are also very excited about our collaboration with BASK for the ECHO series, so please go ahead and check that out and share and sign up. Another big announcement, it's not quite out, but registration for our annual Early Childhood Inclusion Conference will go live this month, so please stay tuned for more information for the early bird rates for that. We are also, if you'll go to the next slide, our evidence-based practices in action back to preschool module series. This is another asynchronous e-learning opportunity, and our team has revamped this for this current school year. This is a great opportunity to help prepare your classroom educators and your coaches for the new school year, and we're happy to help you think through how you might want to use this series. There's a variety of different ways. You can go ahead and scan that QR code and go ahead to sign up to get access to that. And the last announcement that we have, if you are a community of practice member for building collaborative early childhood partnerships, our next meeting is on Monday, July 29th at 1. So you should have received an email and you'll receive another reminder. And we'll also hope to see all of you next week at Summer University. Please connect with us if you have any questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Carrie. Next, Lisa McClimate to talk to us about indicators 9 and 10.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Well, I don't have pretty slides, but anyway, hopefully better pretty news or good news. So we are changing our process a little bit for indicator 9 and 10. So disproportionate representation. So everybody will be getting a letter this week. And so beginning with this current data review, that fiscal year 23, this was the data information you got from Carolyn and data in May. This will be the first year of moving to a 3-year process, and hopefully this is going to be very helpful for the districts. So the first time you meet the threshold of 2.5 or higher for indicator 9 or 10, you're just going to receive a notification letter, just an alert. No further action required that first year you meet the threshold. The second year that your LEA would meet the threshold for or higher for the same race, ethnicity for indicator 9 and the same race, ethnicity, and disability category for indicator 10, you'll receive a notification again that you met the threshold for 2 consecutive years. This is just a caution letter with recommendations and some options for professional development if you would choose to do so. So year 1, you meet the threshold. Year 2, there's nothing that you're going to have to do for us. Year 3, next slide, Sarah. For the third consecutive year that you would meet the threshold for the same race, ethnicity, or disability category, you're going to receive notification that you met that threshold for 3 years. And then OSIS will conduct a file review, and OSIS will review your policies and procedures. We'll have a team that will do that. And the same as usual, if we would find any non-compliance, your district would have to correct that non-compliance. Very rarely do we have districts that meet that threshold 3 years in a row. So hopefully this is going to be a helpful process. If an LEA meets the threshold this year and does not meet the threshold next year, and then you meet the threshold the following year, that's a 1 year, you would get that first year notification because, you met the threshold has to be consecutive. And it will take 3 consecutive years to trigger that review by us. We did get, go through the process with, we work a lot with IDC that we are able to do this for indicator 9 and 10. And so hopefully, this makes it a lot easier. We were not able to, OSA does not allow us to do the 3-year process for 4AB. So at the end of June, if you met the threshold for 4A and B, you did get that letter and you do have to do the self-review of policies, the self-review for files. We did try to make it easier on the self-review of policies and procedures. The first question is, have we reviewed your policies and procedures in the last 3 years? And if we did, if there were no changes, that should have been the end of your, and you should have been able to hit submit. If we haven't reviewed them before, then you would need to review them. But if we've already reviewed them, you won't be having to review them again for 4A and B, because we have record of your review from the last several years. So hopefully that's going to make things easier. And if you have any questions, concerns, just give me a shout out, and I will help in any way I can. Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you, Lisa. And then next up is Katie Heiss.
All right. For some of you, long time no see. This is Ed Plan Day. That's what I like to call it. So lots going on, lots of moving parts. It's finally here. What we've been, I've been working on since October. Some of you working on even longer than that, is getting ready for this launch. And so Ed Plan SC officially launched yesterday. And I can't thank you enough for all your hard work and efforts to getting us to this point. I know it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride that you've taken with me, and so we've had ups and downs, and so we know that everything isn't perfect. We're working hard, very hard to figure out all the kinks and get everything situated so that it's as smooth as can be. Yesterday was a busy day. 861 people logged in. 305 events were created. So not only are people trying to log in and see what it looks like, they're actually doing things in the system on day one. And you could tell with that 3,722 documents created. And I almost put up there my 220 emails that I answered yesterday. So I was laughing at myself. But so I know your questions are coming through, and lots of questions, and I am working on getting you responses today in between meetings. So I know we have some people who couldn't get logged in, issues with PowerSchool. So we'll talk a little bit about that also during this time. But a lot of you probably did attend the office hours, so you have some of this information already. Okay, go ahead, Sarah. Okay, so what is in your system? So this slide might look familiar because it used to say what to expect on launch date, and now it says what is in your system. And so There was still a few districts that reached out and said, we can't find the PDFs. And so I just want to clarify again, what came over, what you're seeing is essentially dates and words. So, the goals are in there to do progress reports, the IEP dates to say, when the new IEP needs to be done by, those pieces are there. COAST came through as well. So, then go ahead and go to the next slide. Sorry, my phone rang and I think I just hung up on somebody. If you were calling me, I'm sorry, I think I just hung up on you. All right, so EdPlan SC resource information. So I did get a question about where is some of this stuff located. So I just want to say it again, in case you didn't catch this. The webinar recording links are located in the dashboard of the training site. So scroll all the way down, Train the Trainer Toolkit. You'll see ones for the webinar recording links, and then you'll also see for the office hours are there as well. So there's a lot of resources that are in there. I don't know how to work the phone. So then this is good. Does anybody have any questions about this resource information and where this is located? Where you're seeing this? Okay. And next slide, Sarah. So just a reminder here that, during those 3 weeks, we weren't sleeping. Special ed, we're always on the go. We're always doing things. And so you have lots of, you might have lots of documents and processes that you did, on those fillable PDFs, those forms. And now some of those things have to be uploaded into EdPlan. Some of those things have to, be, the processes have to be complete. And so there was a PowerPoint that's in there as well that shows you like, okay, this process, what do you have to do for revocation of consent? How do you upload that? Do you need to do the process? And so if you have any questions when you're going through to do these things, please reach out so that I can make sure that, you're getting everything in there correctly. If you're having any problems or there's any questions before you start uploading and doing those processes. So we're asking that you have all of that information from the dark period prior to the school district's first day of school. Within that 30 days, and some of that reason being is, we have an allocated paperclip, and so until September 30th, it won't count against your paperclip. So if you have things that you need to upload, you can do that without it impacting this year's paperclip. But then also making sure you have everything you need to get started for progress reports and things like that. We went over this today during office hours. So that EdPlan SC, that EdFi, so the state data side of things into the PowerSchool and that integration. So the PowerSchool rollover and the publishing to EdFi, that has to be done before the data is going to feed into EdPlan. They're looking at staggering this out, and we talked about that on the call, turning it on for districts that are ready by the end of the week. So it should be happening soon. We just don't have an exact date as to when it's going to happen, as I know our PowerSchool side of the house is working diligently on getting all the districts ready for the rollover and then publishing, so that this information then will be turned back on. So the feed will be turned back on in EdPlan SC, and that it'll refresh the system. Okay, so we've gotten a lot of emails about the student information not being not being correct. The students in second grade, it's still showing first grade, but in PowerSchool it's showing first grade. It's just because that feed is not active in EdPlan right now, as we're waiting for school districts to finish their publishing and their rollover. Okay, next slide, Lara. And then we have EdPlan SC, the user accounts. So there could be several reasons that they're not coming over. And we talked about this on the office hours, but creating manual accounts that really should be done for those employees that are contracted by the district and are not district employees. However, we know that with the PowerSchool feed not being, active, and with some of our power users not coming over through EdPlan, through the PowerSchool feed, and what has to happen is that has to be corrected in PowerSchool, and then they'll appear. So if you need to create a power user, because obviously you guys need to get in there, you need to start, doing things to your data, working in the system. An account can be manually created. If you need to manually create a power user account, you're going to do that. And then the highest level that can be created at the district level for a manually entered account right now is district admin. So that's why you're going to want to notify me, because then I'm going to have Nick change it over to a power user. They gave you the district codes today, the information on the user code that you need. So you're going to want to make sure that that's correct, so that when the new account, when the account is corrected, so when the email is corrected and the person comes over through PowerSchool, that it kind of, it's not going to technically merge the account, but it'll keep the account together. Because if it's wrong, what it'll do is it'll inactivate the one that you've been using, and the one that is associated to PowerSchool will be that new one. So some of the issues that we've seen, incorrect email addresses or a duplicated email address. Some of the PowerSchool side of things has been that the email is not listed as a work email, and then the staff association, the staff school association is listed as inactive. So those are some of the quick things that we've seen that maybe have been wrong as to why they didn't come over, but you're going to want to collaborate with your PowerSchool people. Go ahead, Sarah. So we had a question about interpreter services being under related. So here's some information about why you're going to be seeing it under related, and then under in the services section of EdPlan SC. So there's no requirement for a goal. This is going to be determined by the IEP team based on the needs of the student. It's kind of documented similar to how we would have documented transportation service. It's not going to pull from the LRE, so those minutes won't calculate. Go ahead, next one. So we have a stakeholder overview sessions. We did one in Columbia on June 25th, and then we're holding another one on July 24th. This is just kind of for awareness. Everybody that's already like on the PWN, they received an invite. So ones that we were already familiar with have already attended in the past. If you have someone maybe that's local that you think may not have this information, you can shoot me an email and I can get that information to them. Our next one will be July 24th, and it'll be virtual. And we are looking at having an annual session for community stakeholders across the state. That was kind of the feedback that we had gotten, that they would like an update, at least annually, as to how this information, looks, and how to work with parents and families. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And then the attendant, I just saw this click in there for Wendy's question. The attended audience, so we have like Family Connection, we have like the school liaison from Sumter or from Straw Air Force Base, and from Fort Jackson. They had people there, that handle like EFMP and the school liaisons. Legal services was there. So our in-person group was a mix. And so the intended audience is any organization that is working with families or working with the school districts even as well. So if you have somebody and you're not sure if they should, you could send the information my way, and then I'll have Cheryl look at it and reach out to them. Cheryl Fitz has been helping us coordinate the organizations that have been attending. So the next thing, just again for your awareness, is that EdPlan University training site, and I keep calling it Enrich University, but it is not. So EdPlan SC University, the training site is live. It has launched as well, and I just wanted you to know the following colleges and universities received a site. They are going to be having training also at the end of the month on being power users over there in their systems. But this is a great collaboration with these colleges and universities that will help prepare, hopefully, students that will be employed in your districts, and that they'll have some knowledge of the system and how to use it when they come to you. So just some information that I thought you would like to have. And that's it. If you want to do the next slide. If you have questions, I don't think anybody on here doesn't have my email and maybe hasn't used my email yet. So, but you know, if you have questions, just email me. I will get out the information as soon as possible back to you. And then I think we had some questions in the chat.
Yeah, there's a few questions. One was wondering whether they could move the training toolkit into, I guess it would be the production side or
production
the
side, yep.
active side.
Yeah, I'll talk to Phil and Nick about getting that moved over. And not moved over. We'll probably leave it in both. Might leave it in both areas for a little while till everybody's comfortable. Like, because some people still don't have access to the system. That way, if they need to go back and get the stuff, they can. So I'll talk to Phil and Nick about that.
Yeah, and then the other question was from Angie, and it's just something we need to look back at the consent for services form. I know we had some changes to the language in that, and I'm not sure that one of our changes took hold. So we need to look back. But I appreciate Angie you pointing that out. So it has to do with the consent for services and the way it's worded as to what the parent is consenting to.
Okay, I'll look at that. And as we go through, you know, there was configuration changes. If you're seeing something and you're like, this doesn't look right, or I don't, you know, send that information to me. So if it's a question like that, or it's a question about adding a service or a goal area, that kind of stuff is going to come to me. And then you know, I can't finalize my IEP, or I'm missing this student, those kinds of things are going to go to Zendesk. So making sure that, you know, you're utilizing Zendesk. And then if you're having an issue, or you're not, you know, something's not as receptive as you need it to be, you can always email me so I can see what's going on as well. I have access to the tickets. Was there any more questions in the chat?
That appears to be it.
Okay.
All right, so I'll take this, Sarah. And as our next information session we have scheduled for August 6th, we will have, you know, some for EdPlan SC, you know, we do have the office hours, so please utilize those. And certainly as you see things, if we see something that comes up that we need to alert you to, we can put another one on the calendar. But for now, our next one will be, you know, back to our regular schedule of the first and third Tuesdays from 3 to 4. We know there's a lot going on. We know you guys have a lot going on. We really appreciate everything you do. You know, it's been a roller coaster for us too, switching, you know, environments in case you guys take a trip out to the farmers market here and see our new home. But that's been a lot, just getting everything working. But we know you guys have a lot going on too. New school sites, new IEP systems. So we appreciate everything you do, and you know, please let us know if you come across any issues, and we'll try to address them as soon as we can. Thank you for your time. I think there was a question, Sarah, about the interpreter training at Clemson and the funding for that.
Yes, I just saw that. Thank you, Peter. So no, there's not. The Educational Interpreting Center does not operate the same as CREATE. The Educational Interpreting Center is for your in-service educational interpreters. We have a total of, well, there are 3 areas around the state, and there's multiple sessions throughout the year where they can go and have the professional development. So that's where we stand with that right now. So they can, they just attend that. Really, at this point, it's either on their own time and of their own will, or it's whether a school district or director, has the money in their budget to, pay for their travel, or however you might want to work that out. But no, they are not. Yes, the money comes from our office to fund that center, but the interpreters are just here in the state already, working in our school districts already. Does that answer your question, Tracy?
So, yeah, so there are interpreters in the state that are working in school districts, but they're not, to participate in this training, they don't have to agree to be in, to stay for 3 years, like we would for CREATE.
Yeah, so to answer it, you clarify. I was just concerned, like, how much do we spend on that they can just leave? Since it's not like CREATE, or is there an opportunity to make it like CREATE?
Well, CREATE is slightly different. I mean, this isn't, these are people who are already working in our schools, and so are the CREATE, but they're moving to a different position. They're getting new certifications. So these are individuals who are already working as interpreters in the school. So we're trying to assist in improving their skill level. And their commitment is they've already obviously signed on in that position for a school district, but we didn't make a contingent on that. Well, we could certainly look into that if, as far as the provisions, but I'd definitely like to survey directors and what they thought. I mean, at this point, particularly as we are looking to increase our skill level, and we're going to have some regulations that are going to be put before the state board this year for education interpreters pursuant to the statute. We wanted to just make available the training opportunities at no expense to these individuals across the state. But we hadn't really anticipated, binding them to it, but that's something to think about.
Yeah, I guess I would just ask, I mean, if you say survey us and get our feedback, I think I would appreciate that, because I don't know how much you're spending on that, and certainly there's a need, but we have a lot of needs. Just general paraprofessional training is a huge cost and a need, and much more vacancies and a lot of issues there. But I personally would rank other things above that if we were not going to put a stipulation on it.
Yeah, we can take it. Like I said, I mean, you can't really put in regulations to up the level of competency of the individual without at least giving opportunities for them to increase that. So it's not a great deal of money overall, but I can check into how much it is. But I appreciate that. I mean, to think about it, and
I think
whether these are only week-long trainings. This isn't a full program like where we're paying for tuition and books for several semesters for a certification. Yeah.
And I think last month I sent a question to you. I wasn't able to be on the call, but I think the response was that y'all were going to look into it. There were some trainings that were going to be about speech for swallowing. And my question was, why would that be occurring? Is there any more answers on that?
Yeah, we're still putting those. Yeah, I mean, we haven't released any of that. That was just the on the eligibility criteria. So that was a specific set of training that we're going to do by recording it and making it available. So I don't think it's going to get into as much of the swallowing as it's not going to be in depth anyway. At least Lisa can elaborate on that.
Yeah, I can elaborate. I think Angie just put a list of professional development modules that she's working on. That one wasn't related to the criteria. It was just related to some, additional emails that she's gotten in the last year. So it wasn't related to the criteria. It was just, here's the list of things she had that maybe to look for that would be coming out. Unrelated. That one was unrelated to the seed.
Yeah. So we heard what you were saying and said, yeah, that's not really, shouldn't have been in that list of things.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, because I certainly think there's some drama and controversy being caused in that area. And, as a speech language pathologist, I don't think anything's changed since I started working in that area. It's still our job to take a look at what plans come and make sure that kids have nutrition. But I don't feel like we have a rampant amount of people sitting out in gen ed that need swallowing services. It just seems to be a lot of effort on that. And I want to make sure that my folks, other than my director of speech, don't have access and get confused by any of that.
Okay. Thank you, Tricia.
Peter, there's also,
Yeah,
excuse me.
Wendy wanted to unmute. Yeah.
Thank you. I'll make this fast. It was just easier to state it than put it in the chat. So, yesterday, as Kathleen said, has been a roller coaster. My data manager's, head is spinning, and we're doing the best we can. Peter, I'd appreciate it if all the people in your office were reminded or just in the forefront of their minds, remembered that on our plates this year is the new IEP program, the new SEED document and the guidance and those regulations, letters training, new ELA standards, new math standards coming down the pike. And so just being mindful of getting timelines for notices when things are due, or, Task Basket, they have a lot of great resources. But honestly, in my district, my focus with my staff and their time is going to be training on that IEP program, the SEED doc, the letters, all those things. So there's just a lot going on this year. I know you know that, but while I have everybody here, I just want to make sure that your staff is reminded of that. I got something 2 weeks ago that I had a week to turn something in, and it was like, it would have been nice to have more notification. So just something to think about. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate that, Wendy. That we know there's a lot, and like I said, it is truly sincere that for all you guys do, and there's a lot going on in special ed right now. I mean, and some of these things are great, but it's just the timing was such, it all hit at the same time, and so that's a point well taken. And we are trying to, do what we can to make the process as easy as we can. I mean, we do think about that every time, but I'll reiterate it. But we do on a regular basis, just thinking about the districts and what kind of impact, it will make on you guys, because we know your time is stretched. So, like I said, I appreciate the comments for sure, and we'll keep trying to do that. Like, when Lisa went over the requirements with, as soon as we found that there was some flexibility for us, on 9 and 10, we took advantage of it. Significant disproportionality the same way. So, those are all dictated by the federal government. So once we're able to find out from them and work with the technical assistance agencies and craft something that can give you guys a little bit more of a breather, we try to do that. And even with our determinations, as we updated those and got those into place, the first year we only had meets requirements and needs assistance, and so it was, a year to kind of give a reprieve. So we try it where we can to provide a little bit of notice in advance and time to look at things. And we've reinstalled the ability for you guys to look at your data before determinations are made and let us know if anything needs to be adjusted. And so we'll continue that practice so that, when the determinations come out, you've had the data for some time. Spring dates. Sorry for, at this point, we're looking at potential fall admin dates. We've looked at the composite calendars around the state, and it's been a little bit hard to pin down and get locations for it. But we'll probably just have a fall admin that would be in person. What we are contemplating now, and we certainly would welcome your feedback on, was to have kind of a virtual pre-session, and then have a one-day event in the fall in person, because it seems like it's hard for people to carve out much more time than that we've have it. So we do not have the dates yet for those. All right. Well, that seems like all the questions, unless something's missed in the chat, but I don't see it. Thank you once again so much for your time and for all you do for students